Journal of 2 visits made to some nations of Indians on the west side of the River Ohio. Wednesday 13th. Mr. Irwin invited the king and some of his friends to take breakfast with me, having previously informed him that I was no trader, but was a good man, whose employment among white people was to speak of God and heavenly matters, and came with that view to see my brothers the Indians. None of this nation ever saw a minister except a chance one at some fort, so that they have little prepossessions, only what are natural. When the king met me, it was with all appearance of friendship, and respectfully gave me the right hand of fellowship, with some kind of obeisance. His friends that came with him he ordered to do the same. When breakfast was ready, which consisted of fat buffalo, beavers' tails and chocolate, in a solemn manner acknowledged the goodness of God, desiring Mr. Irwin to acquaint him with the design of my proceeding, and he said the king approved well of it. In our conference at breakfast, he desired to know my business among them, seeing that I was no trader, told him that I could not give a full answer, being a stranger to their language, and not yet having got a good interpreter to speak for me, but expected one, and then he should fully know my business. At present, told him only a few things, because Mr. Irwin could not interpret only in common affairs, not having long traded in this nation. Kishinotisthi is indeed a man of good sense, and by all that appeared was my hearty friend. He was desirous that I should instruct them into the knowledge of God, but he was only one, and there were many against me, especially at Chillicothe. During my present stay, visited the king in his own dwelling, and was always received kindly, treating me with hickory nuts, which is part of their food, being much superior to any of that kind in our eastern world. He is neither distinguished in apparel or house, that being one of the least in town, being about 14 feet by 12. He may be said to possess some degree of hospitality. Being much indisposed one day, the king's wife came with what was thought might suit a weak stomach as a present to me. The dish consisted of pumpkins, which had been dried, but were now boiled, and with it some bear's oil to eat with the pumpkin. As it was a demonstration of benevolence, though my appetite was poor, yet I eat a little. About this time it snowed near 6 inches deep, and for some days it felt near as cold as winter in Philadelphia, though it is thought to be about 2 degrees south, so that cold weather in common is not long. Before removal from this town, Captain McKee, in company with Major Smallman, arrived. Mr. McKee is now agent for this Department of Indians, and as his influence might be great, acquainted him with my design. He appeared to be pleased, promising to do what was in his power to make my journey prosperous. The Indians having told me that my old interpreter David Owens was down Ohio below the falls towards the Wabash River, therefore inquired of Mr. McKee for an interpreter. He recommended one whose name is Caesar, who was a foreigner, and, as he said, understood something about religion, and therefore would be best for an interpreter on that subject, but was so unhappy as never to see him. We parted expecting to see each other at Chillicothe. It was with reluctance this town was left, before an opportunity was obtained to instruct the Indians, but being destitute of an interpreter, concluded to move to the chief town. Friday 22nd, in company with Mr. Irwin, set out for Chillicothe, and arrived there in the afternoon. Here Mr. Irwin kept an assortment of goods, and for that purpose rented an house from an Indian whose name is Wapi Monito, in English, often called the White Devil. But the word Monito is not of any certain signification. Went to see Mr. Moses Henry, a gunsmith and trader from Lancaster. This gentleman has lived for some years in this town and is lawfully married to a white woman who was captivated so young that she speaks the language as well as any Indian. She is a daughter of Major Collins, formerly an inhabitant of the South Branch of Potomac, but now lives near the Little Kanawha on Ohio. Mr. Henry lives in a comfortable manner, having plenty of good beef, pork, milk, etc. His generosity to me was singular and equal to my highest wishes. Soon after my arrival, dieted all together with Mr. Henry, but slept on my blankets at Mr. Irwin's. By living on such victuals as formerly used, soon recovered my health in a comfortable degree. Chillicothe is the chief town of the Shawnee Indians. It is situated north of a large plain, adjacent to a branch of Paint Creek. This plain is their cornfield, which supplies great part of their town. Their houses are made of logs, nor is there any more regularity observed in this particular than in their morals, for any man erects his house as fancy directs. North of this town are to be seen the remains of an old fortification, the area of which may be 15 acres. It lies near Foursquare, and appears to have had gates at each corner, and in the middle likewise. From the west middle gate went a circular entrenchment including about 10 acres, which seems designed to defend on all quarters. This circle included a spring. Mr. Irwin told that another exactly in this form is to be seen on the River Scioto, the banks of which remain so high as to intercept sight of men on horseback. 'Tis evident to all travellers that this country has been inhabited formerly by a martial race of mankind enjoying the use of iron. For such entrenchments as appear in various places could not have been made otherwise. But of this part of antiquity we shall remain ignorant.